All right, here we are. We're wrapping up our second series. Give me five. Our second series in the new To The Point podcast, as Kathy and I have been going through Colossians chapter 3, which is a study on family by the book. I'm Andy Addis. I have the privilege of being the pastor of Crosspoint Church, multi-site church here in Kansas. And you are?
Kathy Addis.
And what is your role?
I am your wife.
And so much more. So much more. You used to say domestic engineer or something like that.
I don't know.
You had all kinds of things
crazy.
You would say. That was good. Well,
now I'm just a grandma.
Yeah. I like it. But you're not a grandma because you have a Nordic title that you were supposed to assume, which is?
I am Amma.
Amma, which is Nordic because our son is embracing his Viking background.
Yeah, that tiny, minuscule aspect.
It is not tiny.
It's a little bit tiny.
It's not tiny. We're primarily from Denmark.
Well, you are.
Well, the other half is Native American from your side of the family. He's a warrior all the way around.
It's true. It's really cool, though. I mean, I appreciate it.
Hey, you're in trouble. It's your fault. You're the one who got me Ancestry.com a couple
that
years
is true.
ago. I would never have known all that.
That is true.
There we go.
But it's cool. And you are not Grandpa.
I am Offie.
Offie.
Because that is Nordic
for
or
Grandpa.
Viking for Grandpa. That's right.
By
the way, when we figured that out and you said, no, you're kind of Viking, we all went, that kind of makes sense. Look at you. The beard, the build, everything. Yeah. The attitude.
And your son looks just like you.
Yes, he's more Leif Erikson than I am.
It's true.
Anyway, here we go.
Wow, that was a complete cheese puff.
No, because we're talking about roles in the home and grandmas and grandpas, and that's kind of the spark for this. Every week we like to start off with the spark, and the spark is that every household runs on roles and responsibilities. Mm-hmm. It just absolutely does. But without God's order, there's some chaos that can erupt. Let me give you this stat. According to U.S. adults, 44% say that shared religious beliefs are very important for a successful marriage and underscores how the role and belief alignment matter in the home. So almost 50% of people say that it's not just love and care, but shared religious beliefs. And why is that? Because it tells us kind of the roles to play, and it gives us some wisdom. And even people going to church together, if we don't agree on those roles, it can cause some stress and strife. Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah. And so we come to the end of this incredible chapter, and we've spent a month going over just one chapter of Colossians. But even then, we could go back and mine this for so much more. It feels like we're flying over it at 30,000 feet.
Yeah, we kind of are. It's because, as you've said every time, this chapter is not primarily about the family, but it's about us as Christians and our relationship with Christ. And there's so much more to it, but it's definitely applicable to the family.
Yeah, it's the big picture, and we can find family under that. Now, it all pointed to, we started with set your eyes in the right place, make sure you take off and get rid of these things, and this says make sure you put on and wear these things. And then it comes to these verses, and you realize that it's all been pointing to these family relationships. And so this truly is probably the most family part of what we were talking about. The rest of it has been pointing here. It's almost like a funnel, but now we're specifically talking about family. We're going to read Colossians chapter 3, verses 18 through 25. And we're going to talk about wives and husbands and children, and then bondservants. And bondservants is sometimes translated slaves, and it can be the equivalent culturally of employees, right? Employees and bosses. Even though we're not going to get into this whole issue, but let me make sure you understand, the Bible does not condone slavery.
Right.
It taught as though slavery were a part of the culture they were in. What do you do in that context? But it did not condone slavery. Matter of fact, most of the Old Testament, it was abhorrent, and it was always a discipline and helped them escape from slavery. So make sure we understand that as we're reading through this. Let me read Colossians 3, starting at verse 18, and again, we're going to read down through 25. We're probably not going to focus on all of it to the end. We're just going to look at the first couple of verses. Matter of fact, let's just shorten that up. Can we do that? Since we're talking about family, we're going to go through verse 18 through 21.
Okay.
Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, and do not be harsh with them. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. Now, I don't know if you caught that, but I don't know if it'll be the same in the NLT. There's like 2 statements for every one of the roles and responsibilities. It's like, do this, why? Do this, why? Do this, why? Go ahead and read the same passage, Colossians 3:18-21 in the New Living Translation.
Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting for those who belong to the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and never treat them harshly. Children, always obey your parents, for this pleases the Lord. Fathers, do not aggravate your children, or they will become discouraged.
Right. Now, these are 4 statements about 3 significant relationships, but because some of them overlap, there's the statement about children, and then it comes back to fathers. It's interesting. It doesn't say mothers.
I know. That's what it just dawned on me that there's
Moms,
not a mom.
You
thing
frustrate your kids all you want. I don't think that's the way that works.
No, I don't think that's probably, especially given the entire rest of this chapter.
Yes. I think we've caught the flavor of that. That's right. So let's start going through this because the spark is the fact that roles and responsibilities are important in understanding how we run the household. The passage that we're looking at is just rich with giving us specific roles and obligations. But what is the point? Bit by bit, let's talk about wives. I'm so glad you're here. Why don't you explain to me what you think this means and just walk through. Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting the Lord. What does submission mean?
Well, I don't know the actual definition. I cannot give you
fine.
the word for word definition, but to me, submission means coming under your authority, or allowing you to lead, coming under the authority of someone else.
Yeah, I think that's a great understanding, and it gets abused in a different context. Let me read for you. I came prepared for this. I always get a little itchy on this.
This is your favorite subject ever.
Yeah, no, I just because I've seen abuse before, and I've seen control before, and boy, just don't want any part of that. I want to make sure that no one ever uses God's word to validate that.
Yeah.
So let me just read this for you. Instead of telling wives to obey in the Greek, which was hapukau, it was typical in Roman household, as was typical in Roman households. So in a Roman household, obey is what they would say. But Paul appeals to them to submit, hypotasso, and that's based on his conviction that men have a God-given leadership role in the family. The term suggests an ordering of society in which wives should align themselves with and respect the leadership of their husbands. This is not a command, you just obey him. This is, can you respect the order that God has, as Christ was the groom and the church was the bride, as the husband is the head and the wife is part of the body. In that, he is saying, Paul is not enjoining the wives to follow a prevailing cultural pattern, but he says to do this, how? As is fitting the Lord. And that's the key. Remember? So wives submit, but submit is a respectful following, and then it qualifies it, as is fitting the Lord. What does that mean to you?
As is fitting for those who belong to the Lord is how mine says it.
Okay.
And to me, that means if your husband is leading you in a direction towards Christ, submit to that. Allow that authority to come over you. If he is demanding something that is not of Christ,
Or abusive,
and I don't mean like he's just being a turd, like that still falls under this, I'm afraid. That's just how it is. But I mean, if he's abusive, if he is
manipulative, coercive,
all of those things, if he is what is the word I'm looking for, that if I'm a believer and my husband is not, I still have, according to 1 Peter, I still have the role of being that wife, that I am to submit to that. But there comes a point when it's not
If it's not fitting the Lord.
If it's not fitting the Lord.
If it doesn't lead you to a place where you can still be under the lordship of Christ, or he's leading in a way that's not under the lordship of Christ, then that is not a call for you to be a doormat.
Right.
To be in that. That is the parameter. This is the ideal relationship. You have a godly husband who loves you and wants the best for you.
Right.
And so you should be able to submit to that because he loves you and wants the best for you, and it's under the leadership of Christ.
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's no requirement for you to take it one for the team, take it across the brow. So this is a call not only for women to submit, but for men to lead in a godly way.
Right. Right.
That's the partnership that we have here.
Yeah.
Make sense?
So then what does it mean if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. When is divorce okay?
Well, this passage isn't about divorce.
Right.
But here's what we know. God hates divorce.
He does.
He would rather there be grace and healing and mercy.
Restoration.
But, according to the New Testament, Jesus and Paul, that there is the exemption that was given to Moses to give a writ of divorce if there is sexual infidelity. Mm-hmm. But there's also, in the display that you just said, if an unbelieving man leaves a believing woman, then she's free.
Yes.
Right? So there's many interpretations that people have tried to manipulate out here.
Yeah.
And can you remarry? Can you do all this? The point of this passage is how in a godly marriage are godly people going to work this out. And so if you say, when is divorce? Well, there shouldn't be divorce between two godly people.
Right. And I think
so somebody would have to be way outside the bounds of their covenantal agreement.
And I agreed. And I'm not trying to muddy the waters. I'm just thinking that if you're listening to this podcast and your marriage is in the dumpster and you're married to a Christian, these are the rules that we have to follow.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to this podcast and you are not married to a believer, you need to know that there is hope for one thing. But in this context, we need to remember that he's writing to the church
and Christian examples that are. This is the idyllic way that we should be shooting for. But so, what does this even mean then? So you and I were in 1993 moving to seminary. And I remember our pastor said, "Kathy, when did you know that God called you to Texas?" And I was actually not really happy with this answer. You said, well, "God didn't tell me to move to Texas. I'm just following Andy." And I was like, "I thought we were in this together." And you said, "Well, I'm following you." And that was a little abrasive to me in the moment because I thought we were a team on this. But then later I'm like, you know what? She may have wanted to stay or go somewhere else, but this wasn't a detrimental or abusive thing. She just said, if this is what God's telling him, this is where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
That's submission. And it was not what I wanted in the moment, but it was a beautiful thing. And
it did end up being the best thing for us. But I think that act helped me, and God did that because I was stubborn and ugly about it.
Beautiful.
But it began to show me that there will be decisions that we have to make as a couple that you and I will talk about it. I will tell you how I feel. I will give you my opinion. I will give you what I feel like God is telling me. But ultimately, that decision is going to come to you. And you are going to have the responsibility of making that decision for our family. So I'm going to trust you. I'm going to stand behind you and understand that.
And when you stand back there, you're not going to talk smack and give weird looks.
My thought is that I'm just holding your back. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I got your back in that. Because if you're wrong, you got to deal with God.
Now let's be really honest. And I want you to, like, this has been how we've tried to live. We don't have a perfect marriage. We don't have a perfect family. But in doing that, how many times in the 30 plus years of our marriage have we had a discussion, disagreed, but I led us in a different way? Just how many times can you think of? If you just had to give a number.
I honestly, I can't think of any where you've just gone rogue. No, there have
been times that we would have maybe done a little different, but I can't think of a single time in which you said, I really think this, that I haven't gone, well, you're probably right.
Or a lot of times what happens is I go, I don't know.
And then I just make a decision.
And then you just make a decision. I'm
because
like,
I am a natural decision maker.
That is true.
I almost love it when you're like, I don't care. Good, I'm in. I'll tell us what we're doing.
You have no trouble making a decision. That's true. I have all the trouble making a decision. So I have learned that I can, but I've learned that I can trust you. That you're going to do what's best for us.
And we're having conversations about it.
100%.
And those conversations aren't just me trying to convince you or you trying to convince me. We're having conversations.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that's why we should do that. And sometimes I'm like, I did not know that. I'm glad you told me that.
And sometimes we're like, we need to not make a decision yet.
We just need to pray about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we're not on the same page.
Yep.
Yeah.
I stopped our lead team in the middle of our meeting today. We were having a discussion about something. I said, we're not in agreement, and it's not bad, but we just need wisdom. Mm-hmm. And James says that God has it, and if we ask, he'll give it. And so we just stopped, and we prayed, and we said, God, at some point, you're going to give us this answer, and we're not going to fight about it, and we're not going to discuss it. We're just going to wait to hear from you. And it was a beautiful moment because we got done, and the guys were like, yeah, good. We'll move on. We're just going to wait for the Lord now. And that's in marriage. We submit to the Lord, and then we actually submit to one another, is what Ephesians says. It's not just wives submit to husbands.
Right.
I submit to you on a lot of things where you're just smarter. Like, I don't fold towels anymore because I don't know how.
I don't know how smart I was. Then can I just caution you? Here's a pro tip, ladies. I have been married 31 years, and I have folded towels now for at least 30 of those.
30 and a half.
Because I complained about how he folded towels, and because they had to be folded a certain way to go in the shelf, in the cabinet. So I made a comment, and now I have earned the right.
Wasn't the comment that changed that relationship? It was
the fact
the
that
refolding of everything that I did. I'm like, oh, fine. That's great.
Yeah, don't pick your battles, girls.
But now, that is your domain.
I get to fold the towels all the time. I do, but they do look just the way I want them.
They do. Yeah. They're just like you want them, and I'm so thankful. So I submit to you in that.
Yeah.
All right.
Think through it.
Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Now, you would think, well, if you love your wife, how could you be harsh with them? Have you ever heard a guy say he loves you, but then he acts different? I think men have this ability to say, no, I love her. She just drives me crazy. You know what I mean? And we think you can love and also be a doofus, right? So he says we love our wives. What is that primary thing? Love and respect. Men need respect. That's why God asked women to submit, and women need to know they are the apple of the eye, that you would die for them, that they are the most important thing. They're on the pedestal. And so you have to love them. But then he says here a little differently, love them. That's what they need. That's number one need. Let them know that you love them more than you love your hobbies, your cars, your job, your sports. That she is the most loved thing in your life, and don't be harsh with them. Yeah. Learn gentleness. And there have been a couple times in our 30 years where I'm a pretty gentle guy. I'm a gentle giant. You know what I mean? I don't find myself that, but every now and then I'll say something that's just gruff, and I can see when you go.
Do I do that?
You do. You get the little pat. I'm like, oh no, what did I say? What did I say? What did I do? Or I can't even remember what it was. It was in the last month. I said something. You go, oh, be nice. I'm like,
hurtful.
I don't want to be nice, but that's what he's talking about. That no, we can't talk about this. This goes way back. Let's hop in the way back machine. When you and I were dating,
Okay.
and we were actually sitting in my truck outside of band rehearsal.
Okay.
You had a conversation with me. You said, I am not your brothers. I do not find it loving when you poke and tease and make fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
And you identified, you said, I'm your girl, and I don't want to be treated that way. And I realized that I grew up with 3 brothers, and the way we showed affection was to call each other names and to poke at each other. And that literally was the way we showed affection. But that was harsh to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could love you and think I was loving you, but the secondary command was, but don't be harsh.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
And so who decides then what's harsh?
That's a great question. I would think, it's not in Scripture, but I would think it wouldn't be the husband.
I would think the receiver would be the one that gets to decide.
I learned this in my master's for communication at Fort Hays State University. It doesn't matter what you say. It only matters what they hear. Mm-hmm. What you say doesn't matter. It only matters what they hear.
Yeah.
And so husbands, love them and don't be harsh.
Yeah.
Don't be harsh. Matter of fact, what does it say? Is it 1 Peter or 2 Peter? Where it says, don't be harsh with your wives or it'll hinder your prayers.
I think it's 1 Peter. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
In other words, God says, you messing with my daughter? I'm cutting you out. That's literally what it says. You're harsh. You wonder, why won't God listen to my prayers? Why don't you be nice to your wife? I had that conversation in the counseling closet several times. Okay. Mm-hmm. So priority roles in the home. Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Children, obey your parents in everything.
Always obey your parents.
So who are children?
For this pleases the Lord.
Here we go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Say Kathy has bumped the mic and we're going to have to don't touch. If you can't see, we're doing surgery here. Okay.
Sorry. I won't touch it. Sorry. I didn't hit my glasses though.
You hit your whole face on it. I did. We could edit that in post, but we're just going to leave it.
Oh, you know.
It was worth it.
Whatever.
Anyway, so children, obey your parents in everything. I love this. Who are children? Well, if you have parents, honor your mother and father. When does that stop? So children, obey your parents. Yes, relationships change. You grow up, you have your own household. But there's always going to be a relationship with your parents. And why? Not because they're right all the time.
Right.
Not even because it's good all the time. For this pleases the Lord.
Yeah.
Children, you want to know how to please the Lord? Young adults, you want to know how to please the Lord? Then do your best to honor your parents because that pleases the Lord.
It says obey your parents.
It's pretty significant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. Because of course my mama's passed, but there were times that she would say stuff and I'm like, it's just, she would I didn't touch it this time.
I know. Keep talking.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. We're going to get through this episode and then we're throwing these microphones away.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Your mama would look at you?
Yeah, she would. Now, there were things that I knew that she was right. And I just didn't want to do it. And she wasn't trying to call me out like she was okay to do that. There were things that she would say I should do. But I think I was given the choice to or not to. But it's hard as a grown-up to obey your parents.
Yeah, and I want to soften that a little bit because we honor our mother and fathers. That's forever. But the word children actually is age descriptive.
Good.
It doesn't mean that you have to obey them in the sense of pick up your room and do this for the entirety of your life. But the sense of honoring them is one that does go on and on. But why do we do that? Children, in that relationship, in the home, obey your parents because it pleases the Lord. You don't do it because they're right or to please them. Mm-hmm. If you're a Christian teenager and your family's not going to church, do you know how you best win them to the Lord? Be a good kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be a good kid.
Yeah. Obey him. Yeah.
Now, again, we're talking about ideal family relationships here. And then verse 21, fathers, do not provoke your children lest they become discouraged. The word provoke is an interesting word. Before we get there, I forgot something that was really important. Children obey. You've pointed that out, and the microphone distracted me. The word obey is upakuo.
Okay.
Now, up is a prefix, but akuo is the word acoustics. And so we obey on the basis of having paid attention to. So we heard it. In other words, listen to your parents and obey because you heard them. That was too good to not pass by. Literally, the word acoustics is in there.
Wow.
You heard it. You listened to it.
Don't you pretend like you. I know you heard me.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ooh.
Now we move on. Oh, goodness. Now we move on. I'm going to just hold your mic for the rest of this podcast.
Do you want me to hold it?
No, I got it.
Okay.
We're good. Let me serve you in this way.
Well, you can hear it. I can't.
I know.
So.
I know. I'm wearing that little weird earbud. Okay, so welcome to the high-tech world of To the Point. This is fantastic.
Oh, my goodness.
Last one, fathers, do not exasperate your children. Do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. The word for exasperate, provoke means offend, grieve, or vex your children. And why? It's because they'll lose heart. Lose heart. You can break them.
Yeah.
It is so easy to come to a place where you're right and you're irritated, and so you're gonna do X, Y, or Z. You're gonna demand this and you're gonna demand that. But the reality is that what you're doing is provoking them, and you're gonna break them. Just like, oh goodness, we're gonna break them just like we would break a horse.
Yeah.
But not in a good way. You're gonna domesticate them, and especially dads. Can I just talk to dads out there for a second? Dads with kids in young sports. Coach them. Set high standards, but man, they're not earning a paycheck.
Yeah.
Don't break them. Don't break them down. How about on the car ride home, instead of, you know where you messed that up, you need to be a man. How about, man, you really stuck it out there. That was a hard loss. I've been through those too. Right? And use them as life lessons, because here's what can happen. Fathers, you can think you're raising them up, tell them to rub some bacon on it, it'll be okay. But you're going to discourage them. You're really going to break them. And moms, you're included in this too. Right?
Yeah.
It's dads as the umbrella, but parents, just don't provoke your children because they will get discouraged. It's just the way it is.
Well, I love that one of the words used there is offend. And we don't think of offending our children, but it's hurtful. Like, I remember when Nathan was little bitty, Noah is 2 years older, and so he was probably 6, and we're pretty sarcastic.
We speak in sarcasm sometimes.
We do
yes.
speak in sarcasm sometimes, and Noah had kind of picked up on it, and he
played the game.
Yeah, he knew that we were joking, that it was sarcasm or whatever, and I remember we said something to Noah, and Nathan starts crying. Now he's like 4.
Right.
But he starts crying. I'm like, Bub, what's wrong? And he goes, he repeated whatever it was that we said, and it just broke his heart. He was thoroughly offended.
Because he didn't recognize.
For his brother.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think we need to be really careful.
And so we didn't go, oh, I'll suck it up. No, we didn't mean that. No, what do we do?
We were like, Bub, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
This was not, that's not how we meant it. And so then we realized, okay, first, don't use sarcasm with Nathan. He's not there. He doesn't. But I think it's that we need to remember that they're not impervious to it.
Right.
And they do get it. They understand more than we think.
And mom and dad, your words and your actions and your motives weigh heavier on them than they do anyone else. They may want to look like it doesn't bother them, but boy, it sure does.
Because they want to please you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So here we are. This is the end of our 4-week series, and now we need to give our 2 cents. And here's my 2 cents on the priority roles in the home. Leadership in the home isn't about control. It's about carrying weight love and example. And if we'll remember that it's not about who's in charge and who has to do what, but it's about carrying the weight of the relationship in the home together to be a loving example, then you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I echo that. And to know that we do it together, that we shoulder it together.
Amen.
And it's not just you and me. It's mom, dad, and kids. Like, we all have a responsibility in it.
That is 100% accurate and great summary. Welcome to The Point, and we have finished our second mini-series on family by the book out of Colossians chapter 3. I just want to say this, if you're on the video portion of this and you're watching me hold Kathy's mic together the next time, I don't know what it's going to look like, but we're going to have 2 different mics. It's going to be great.
I did not break it, for the record. It was broken
You did smack it with your face.
Okay, but it was broken beforehand.
Love you guys. Have a great time, and we'll see you on another episode of To the Point.